This TV and this thing. Oh, come on. Don't. No, you don't.
Hey, welcome to Theology of Games. Thanks for joining us again for another video review. I'm Scott Firestone.
I'm Jeremiah. This time we're taking a look at the recently released game by Eagle Games.
Railways Express, which comes in a humongous box.
This is the express or streamlined version of Railways of the World. It is a dice rolling, tile placement kind of game, and we're going to take a look at it
right now. Alright, to start this video, we are going to have a flyover of the map here. This map is humongous. It almost covers my game table, and I have a fairly large game table. I think the scale on this might be 1-to-1. There are 3 different kinds of terrain on the map. The mountains are this brown color, and they have this white dot in the middle. Any hex that has that white dot is a mountain dot. It's very easy. The rivers are a little bit harder to tell because the rules say that if there's any piece of river in there and it's bright blue, then it's considered a river piece. But some of them, the tiniest bit, and then it's halfway through the tile, it becomes a muted blue. The rivers are a little hard to tell on some of the spots on the board. I wish, if it's a river tile, have a river in there. If it's not a river tile, don't put the river in there. I don't think anyone's going to get upset if you aren't 100% geographically accurate in this. So, river tiles, mountain tiles, and then ones with nothing in them are just plains tiles.
There is a huge pile of hex tiles that are train tiles that come with it. These are double-sided, so a lot of them have like a curve on one side and a straight on another.
Complex crossings like this, so you might have to replace one like this with one like this, and then you just flip it over or find the one you need and place it down on the board.
The next thing that we're going to take a look at is there are 4 custom dice.
2 have tracks. There are sides that have 2 straights, there are sides that have 2 curves, and then there are sides that have 1 of each.
And then these are terrain dice, and there's mountains, there's water, there's plains, and then there's this guy here who is a wild.
I think the iconography on here could have been just better done. I mean, that mostly looks like a mountain. Oh yeah, there's other things in there, and I don't know, it's just, that looks like a road, but wait, it's a river, and I just think they could have done a better job with the dice. They're not my favorite piece of the entire game. And then each of the colors has these colorful plastic trains,
which are divided into 4 colors, and you'll choose a color as a player.
They look a little bit like they're gummy, but you're going to want to trust me on this. They're not.
I'm not actually showing you all of the components. There's a ton of these. The tiles and the trains and the dice, there's just like about 500,000 of each of them. That might be an exaggeration. There's these 2 decks of cards which are really optional. It's like a variant that you can add in. There's railroad operations. These allow you to do special things, like building extra segments of track or re-roll dice. You can kind of hose somebody over if they're going to try to build something. You can stop them from doing that by playing an inspector or a flood. So there's all these kind of things that either help you or hinder your opponents.
The other ones are these service bounties, and they're very simple. Every gray city on the board has one of these. The first player to link their track to Chicago receives an extra re-roll cube. And there's one for each city. If you happen to be near one of these, when one of these comes up, hey, good for you. You link to it and you get a re-roll cube. Both of these kind of feel like an afterthought. They aren't necessary to the main game in any way. I don't think they add a lot to the main game in any way. You might like them, so they're there for you. Then there are also reroll cubes in each color. We have a bunch of these, and you get 2 to start the game, and then throughout the game you might get others, and they allow you to reroll up to 2 of these dice right here. As you can see on this board, there are the 4 different main colors have their own city here.
There's 4 cities of each color. Up here there's a purple city and a red city. Just above that there's a yellow city. I can't even reach it. That's how big this board is. And there's a blue city. So you'll take 2 of these and put them on each of your cities. 1 of each of these will go in all the gray cities, which are neutral cities, and we'll talk about that in a little bit.
The point of the game is to connect all 4 of your colored cities.
So if I'm red, I'm going to come down here. I have to connect Chihuahua, Ashland. I can't reach it. It's so far away. Minneapolis, and Norfolk. I have to connect all of those, and then once I've done that, then I win.
The way you're going to do that is by rolling these dice, placing down tiles, and then you're going to have kind of a continuous train going from city to city.
On a player's turn, they will roll all 4 dice, and then they will match up how they want that to do.
And you can split this up in any way you want. So you could say, all right, I'm going to use this as my freebie for a mountain, and I'll put a mountain tile coming out of there, and then I'll have a straight for my grassland there, curve here, into there. You could curve into this city then. So you could have 2 straights, 2 curves, and so then you would be connected to the city, you would take the reroll cube, and good for you.
You move your train along, that's your turn. You roll the dice, pair them up, you play your track the best way that you can to get where you're trying to go.
More than one person can connect to us in and out of a city, you just can't use the same side. So if red used this side then and came out over here, then you'd have to connect it somewhere else. It's not cut through, there's really no way to cut someone off in this game.
If you happen to roll a terrain die that you can't play, you roll a mountain space and there's no mountains in front of you, you can pay one of these cubes, and the cubes allow you to re-roll 1 or 2 die, and then you can go ahead and do that again. If you don't get what you want, you can say, I need to re-roll again.
I've seen people burn through 4 of these and still not get what they wanted. That person is at a serious disadvantage in this game. It's just flat out true that whoever rolls better in this game is going to probably win the game.
So you can see it's really, really easy to learn. You roll your dice, you play your track, you connect your cities, and that's it. You win. So that's Railways Express. We are going to tell you what we thought about it right. Our final thoughts. Here's where I come down on this game. It's a fun game, really easy to learn, and very light in the strategy. It's almost filler-ish because it plays kind of quickly.
So what do I think about Railways Express? I think it's a pretty good game. It is not, to me, a gamer's game in any way. I don't even think it's a very good filler.
It's huge.
I don't bring boxes this big to game night as fillers. I bring boxes this big to game night as fillers.
This thing is just massive. The board's huge, as we just saw. Grand scale thing for something that's kind of a streamlined, light playing kind of game.
It's a little bit scripted, I want to say. You always start in the same starting city, and you can decide which way you want to go on the board, but your choices are somewhat obvious. If I was introducing someone to a train game, if I eventually wanted to get them to playing Age of Steam, then yes, I might use something like this just to get them used to laying tracks and crossing tracks and things like that.
I think casual players are going to enjoy it. Dice rollers, I always feel, are good for that kind of thing because everybody gets rolling dice. It's fun. It's, hey, I rolled the dice.
The feeling I get for this is that it's a good family game. My family played it. I love the fact that the age is 7 on it, that it says, and we played with my 5-year-old, and with a little help, he was able to do just fine. But I love that it goes down to that age group. So this is a great family game.
If you're looking for a light game, then just go ahead and put this on the table.
It's a good family game. Railways Express from Eagle Games.
I'd like to thank you for tuning in again to our YouTube channel. We're on theologyofgames.com. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, of course on YouTube, and now we have a podcast. So look us up on iTunes as well. We would love to interact with you as always. Hit us up on all those places and tell us what you think. Tell us if you think we're crazy. Tell us if you think, hey, I think you're right. You're stupid. Don't say we're stupid. We might be, but whatever. So anyway, I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Scott Firestone.
This is Railways Express.
And we'd like to thank Eagle Games for giving us a review copy of this game. It did not in any way affect our opinions of it. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Later. Blah, 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 blah.